This is the second time that I have gone live, I think, in this format, going on to YouTube and LinkedIn. Um, yeah, I mean, just a couple of things. I'm just going to be on for a little bit here. I'm going to kind of show the website that I'm working on for the monthly charity live stream that I'm doing. If you haven't seen that, there's some posts on LinkedIn, but we're going to kind of go over that. Um, and also just to connect with people. So if you're on and you happen to, catch me while I'm live, go ahead and throw things into the chat, questions, comments, whatever. If you want to jump on and be live with me, join as a guest, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to throw that link into the chat so you can join. And yeah, let me do that really quick. I'll throw that link into the chat. Oh, it's a great picture. I just saw the LinkedIn announcement, and it's a picture of me like this, saying that I'm live. So that's cool. All right. Let me grab the link. I'll throw that in the chat. Put this up. Post it. All right. I'll just share my screen and we can kind of get into the new site. So I'll share my screen and walk you through this really quick. So a couple weeks ago, I'm going to give you some context. A couple weeks ago, I had some stuff happen in my life where, with the side business and new seasons, just trying to figure that out, making sure that, we're playing nicely, there's no conflict of interest and things like that. Totally makes sense for what was going on. But, it just got me thinking, like, what could I do differently? And, at the same time, like within a 2 to 3 day period, there were just a lot of signs leading to maybe this is, a good time to make a change. And I spent a lot of time just, thinking, visualizing, praying, thinking about what it is that I could do differently and how do I give back, not only, with like money and my advice and experience, but like what else could I do? And this kind of popped up in my head. Again, some of these pieces kind of came from random spots in my life. Different calls that I was on and people that I was talking to, and they all kind of came together at the same time within like a 2 day period, 2 to 3 day period. And essentially, like, it popped in my head, like, what if I just did a live call every month? And at the time, to be honest, I was thinking weekly, but it's too much for me to do weekly right now. So just going to focus on every month, do a live call where, as a community, we pick a topic that we want to cover and we pick a charity that we want to donate to. And so this whole idea here, which you can see, is based around this monthly live stream where we get to give back to a charity that we choose as a community. And, this is all, I'll get into all the details. There's, a lot of nuances, and like, it's pretty much the honor system. I'm not going to be like verifying that you donated money to join the call. And really the idea is that you join the call, you can, see us talking live, you can ask questions, and there will be a little Q&A at the end. So you get a little bit of like interaction, engagement, and value there. But the idea is that it's like a $20 suggested donation that can go to this charity. And it doesn't have to be 20, it can be less, it could be more. If you join and you didn't donate, it's not the end of the world. It's just, the idea is getting us all together, learning together, and then giving back at the same time. So that's kind of the main idea behind the whole thing. And at the same time, a couple weeks ago, maybe 2.5 weeks ago, I was starting to really lean into like using AI to build software and programs and websites and things like that. And so I've been building this website using AI with a lot of back end, database work and keeping track of things like you can see here, collective impact. Some of this it's not quite accurate because I had to do some test runs, but currently, there's one campaign that we have running for December. I'm going to walk through that. We have raised $200. There were two trial runs in there, but I did donate $200 of my own money to this charity that we're going to support in December. And then it's got one charity supported, and it says three participants. It would just be one. I did the trial runs, but this is where we can really see this all live, which I'm really excited about. Seeing over time, 1 to 3 months, 12 months in, we're going to see the impact that we have as a community by just hosting calls and learning together, but getting each other in the same room with, people that want to give back and do good in this world. So as you scroll down, you can kind of see we've got our collective impact. This is, the ongoing kind of keeping track and the tally of what we're doing. And then voting. So there's going to be like campaigns. They're usually just two at a time that's going on. There's going to be a voting period, and then there will be like a registration period. And this first one, because it is really it was really a short timeline. I just picked the topic and the charity. Brand acquisition, something that is really a hot topic right now, as far as brands being acquired. And then the charity is Family Promise. It's one that I've donated to in the past and something that means a lot to me as far as like being able to help families sustainably get back on their feet, give them not only just like some housing and some supplies, but really like teach them how to build their credit back up and get jobs and help their whole family get back into the life that they need. I gotta pull this chat open. I'm not used to going live. Looks like there are it said there were two chats, but nothing's in here. All right, so that's kind of like, this shows it's completed. We didn't actually go through and vote. I just made these for December. And this is still kind of a work in progress on the site. I'm going to make some updates and make sure that the date of the call is here and the time and everything else. But this is essentially the format you're going to see, like what the topic is, what the charity is, and then you can go through here and register to join the call, and you can donate. So you just click this button, takes you to this month's charity, which is Family Promise. Like I said, it's suggested $20, and it has it here, the honor system. We're just trusting that if you want to join the call, go ahead and make a donation, and it just goes straight to them. Like, I don't want to take the money. It's not about me holding money, donating it, and getting some tax write-off or anything like that. It's really, I just want to be the connector. So if we can bring you in and help with, helping these organizations while also learning, then I feel really good about that. And so what you can do is just hit this donate now, and it brings you to that actual charity's website where you can hit the donate button and make your donation. They give you lots of different options, but you can do just a one-time custom amount, $20, $5, whatever it is. And then when you do that, you can just go back and hit the button that says I've made my donation, fill out the little form with how much you donated, and you have this option to keep these donations anonymous. Like, if you don't want to be shown, like your name pop up saying that you donated $20 or whatever, you can totally do that. If you want it anonymous, just click this, and we'll still have your information on our side that we'll be able to, track the registration, get you the link to the show and everything, but we won't post it publicly if you click that button. And then you just hit that complete registration, and it takes you off to I'll do another one here. I'll have to clear these out, but yeah, it takes you off to a little confirmation. You're going to get an email after that, and it will give you all the information so that you can get this into your calendar and get the link and everything and ready to go. And you can share, these are some of the things that I'm still working on, which I'm going to build some of this on this call. I'm walking you through it right now, and then I've got a couple things on my punch list that I want to take care of and enhance the website. So you're going to get kind of what it is now, but also a little bit of building and using the AI to do this. So yeah, when you go to share on LinkedIn, you can just click copy this text and it will copy that for you. And then you click LinkedIn, give you a share option and have, just a control V to paste. And then you can edit this whatever way you want, but this gives you an option to share. The better we can be about sharing and getting this out in front of people, the more impact we're going to have. So I definitely wanted to make sure that there were options like that to share about that. All right, so we're going to return home. It's pretty much it for the current campaign. And then when you get into the voting part, so January 26th, it technically wouldn't be open right now. Like the rounds, it's going to be kind of like bracket, go through different rounds of voting. We start with 8 different topics, and we've got, right now we've got 9 days, 18 hours, 41 minutes to vote. So you have different matches here, and you just have matchups. You can click which one you want to vote on between those two. I'm just clicking random ones, but you can vote for each matchup. And then when the voting period ends for round 1, it'll just automatically go to the next round. You'll get a notification so that you can come back and vote for the next set, and you just do those matchups again. And then over here on the charity, you have your ability to click and vote for just one of these charities. It's typically going to be 4 options, so keep it a little bit tighter and not overwhelm us with all these different options, although there will be a rotating group of charities that we can donate to. And you can see kind of like the area or the category that they're in. So food security, housing and homelessness, disaster response, anti-trafficking. So those are kind of the 4 that I wanted to start with. And, every month there will just be one option from each of those that we can pick, go through and vote on, and then really, just goes through this next process where you register, you donate, join the call, you learn, all that stuff. So the thing about the actual show, so, there's podcasts out there, there's interviews, there's lots of different styles of doing this. And in my mind, I think of this as truly just like the real conversations. We'll have the main topic, and maybe a couple things that I'll have on my list that we can dig into. But ultimately, I want very natural conversations, and I want you as a listener or someone viewing live really be like one of those moments where you're just you can really tell that you are like that moment when you're like, oh, I just want to be a fly in the room when these people have these conversations. Like that's what it is, like real conversations. We're not gonna sugarcoat things, and we can be real about what's happening on each side of the desk. And that's the idea, is like, I'm the buyer, I want to get somebody from a brokerage or somebody from the brand, distribution, merchandising, manufacturing, whatever it is that aligns with the topic. And how do we get those people in the room? We have those conversations, and for maybe 30, 40 minutes, we're just having that conversation naturally. We let it flow where it needs to flow, and then the people in the chat and everything, they can ask questions. We'll open up for a little bit of Q&A at the end. But again, really just being in the room so that you can hear those conversations. Because like when you get these types of people together that are high level, they're experts in their field or in their position, whatever it is. And the way I think of it is like, you're at Expo, you're at the bar, and you're having a conversation. It's a real conversation. It's not prettied up for the camera or, like a podcast or anything like that. It's really just, this is the real shit that is happening and that we talk about. And I want to expose that to more people, because those are some of the best conversations that we have is when we can just freely talk to the person next to me or whatever, and like I just want that experience to be brought to the CPG community. And I think that's where you're going to get the most value out of it because it's not going to be necessarily an interview asking a set type of question or anything like that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, real casual conversation. And yeah, I mean, I think there's just going to be a lot of value that you can see out of, or that you can get out of seeing all the different perspectives that are around the table, right? Like, as a buyer, I might be affected by brand acquisitions in a way different way than a sales rep at that brand, or the founder of that brand, or the distributor who's dealing with their own issues. And so this just kind of takes that topic, whatever it is, and kind of breaks it out into all these different areas so that we can see and really understand it better. All right. So enough about what it is, what we're doing. I think that is pretty clear at this point. But do you want to see some of the back end stuff? Let's do. Why don't we do? Let's do first the AI stuff. I want to change this home page. So let me grab that tab. Where is it? I'll grab that tab and bring it up here. All right. So this is the AI Claude code that I'm using. Just recently am working on the back end, trying to get the right information over to my CRM so that when somebody registers, I can automatically send them emails, get them the link to join, have them added to their calendar, all of that stuff. I'm going to finish that up in a little bit, but I did want to go back to the homepage and make it a little bit different because as of right now, it feels like things just kind of blend together. So I just want it to really like separate itself, differentiate the like current campaign compared to what's coming up. So that's all I'm going to do is just tell it like, hey, back on the homepage, it is a lot to look at for the two campaigns. Is there, let's see, there a way to differentiate them more clearly and enhance the voting stage from the current stage? What ideas do you have? All right, so I'm pretty bad at this. I try to like give it more space to come up with a solution. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I want it this way. I'm very direct, like do this, this, and this. But ultimately, I'm not an expert in website building, so I have to remind myself and try to remember that when I'm doing this, I I can leave it a little bit more open and get its opinion before I start making a decision because it might come up with something a little bit different than what I was thinking. So we'll just go through this really quick. Option one, tabbed interface, so two tabs instead of just all in one page. Option two is collapsible voting section, so the registration stays fully visible, prominent. Voting section is collapsed by default with a teaser banner. Vote for January 2026, and then it expands when Okay, so when you click on it, it expands. I kind of like that. Option 3, compact voting card registration section stays full and prominent. Voting becomes a smaller, more compact card below with just the essentials. No countdown, simplified matchups. I don't really love that. Option 4 is sidebar or split layout. I don't like the split layout idea. Floating vote button registration is the only main content. A floating button in the corner says vote for January and opens voting in a modal slide out panel. Yeah, so it's recommending option 2, but I like that one too. That's the one I was leaning towards, like the collapsible. So we'll just say go ahead with option 2. All right, so we'll give it a second, and then on the back end, this is my CRM and where the website is hosted. So what's nice about the way I asked it to do this, there's lots of ways you can do websites and coding and all this stuff. I really wanted it to be hosted inside of my CRM, which is where my current website is hosted. And so I directed it to build it a certain way with HTML, which means we just get to open the code. And I didn't write any of this code. I am just copying from here, which it should be done in a second, but it's going to update all of the code. I'm going to copy the code and then replace it in that little pop-up that I had. So way easier. I mean, the fact that I didn't have to do any coding for this, and I didn't have to do the drag and drop to figure out this piece and that piece, and there was a lot of back-end tables with all of the data. So you can kind of see in here, this is a different website that, or app program that links everything together. And so these are all the different tables that we have that support the website and the donations, the impact, like all those stats and everything that's live, all the campaigns, like all of that stuff is built in these tables. And then it's just pushed to the website through the code that's in the CRM. All right, so we're almost there. I don't think anybody's live here, but I was gonna ask about Thanksgiving, but nobody's here. So for my Thanksgiving, I went to my dad's for a little bit, and then went to my sister-in-law's where they hosted the full, full kind of party gathering, and had the full spread, which was delicious. Had two different types of turkey. We had like regular, kind of cooked and baked, and then we had a smoked turkey, and then green bean casserole that my wife made, which different recipe. It had some interesting ingredients that I didn't think of before, but like soy sauce, and it mixed the fried onions in instead of just as the top. It was interesting when I was seeing her make it. I was like not really sure, but when it came out of the oven, and there was a shit ton of cheese. There was like maybe a pound of cheddar. So yeah, needless to say, it was delicious. All right, so now it comes through and it says, okay, we're done updating. Here's how it works now. Gives you a little update on what to do. And then all I have to do is click on this copy button to copy the code. I'm going to go in here, select all, and paste everything. So we've got almost 2,600 lines of code. I don't know if that's good or bad. But we're going to save, publish, and then we're going to refresh and see what this looks like now. It's usually not perfect the first time, so we might have to go through a couple iterations. But as we can see, okay, we've got our collective impact. We've got our December 25 voting complete. You can register. And then we've got the drop down. So vote for next month's topic and charity. You can click that. Now it opens up. I've already voted and everything, and it keeps track of your history, so you can't do multiple votes. And that actually looks pretty good. I think that works for me right now as far as, where we're at now. I want to get this launched and not wait for everything to be perfect. This is pretty good. Okay, so we've got that part done. Then I need to go back to, I've got all of this back-end stuff. So the other thing in my CRM that we're doing is you got to refresh this. This is where I'm creating all the automations. So with the automations, this is called an inbound webhook, and essentially it's just saying when a person registers, I'm grabbing all of that information from the form, and some of it wasn't. I don't want the user to have to fill out, so it's like the name of the campaign and the charity and things like that. So some of it is actually. I went back and I said, hey, I need all this information so that for tracking purposes, we make sure that the right links go out and everything else. But don't make it so that the person has to input it. It just needs to be put in there. So now the whole idea here is like, this is what's called a trigger. It just means when this happens, when a person fills out the information, I want it to update contact fields. So we're going to have the first name, last name, email, and then, let's see, we'll do, actually there's nothing left here. I want to show you what it looks like. So we'll delete this. So for email, you click this little tag and it pops up with custom values, which you can create your own custom fields and values and all these different things in here. There's a lot of nerdy shit going on. But at the very top, it's inbound webhook trigger. So that's what I want. And I want to grab the email. So you just click that. And now every time somebody fills it out, it updates that person. If they're already in the system, it updates. If they're not in the system already, then it creates that contact. So let's see. What up, Derek? That's weird. Riverside, where I'm streaming from, shows 0 viewers. So I don't even know if people are watching this or not. Apparently Derek's on. So yeah, it shows a dash mark. So if you're here, post a comment. I'd like to see who's here. And yeah, I'll just keep rolling on this and nerding out. All right, so where I need to do a little bit more nerding out is creating custom fields, because as you might have seen in here, there's different things like donation amount, charity name. I don't know what this is. I've never had to deal with that before, so we're gonna skip that part. And there should be, so we have the charity name and donation amount. It should be pulling in the campaign name, but it doesn't look like it is. So let's close this out. We're gonna refresh. That might be something I go back to AI with and ask for an update. All right, we're gonna try it one more time. We're gonna update the registration page. We're going to save it and publish it. And then we're going to go and make a donation. So we'll register. Say I've made my donation. $20. Going to complete registration. And then we go back into here and we're going to check this out. Let's see, go for the most recent time. That's probably what it was. I didn't change this mapping reference. So this trigger that I was talking about earlier, that's just telling it, hey, grab this information from the form, and I was mapping or pulling in the wrong one. So now we can look at this and say, we'll just throw in something random here, but we click on this tag, hit the inbound webhook, and now we can see campaign name, campaign month, year, winning topic, winning charity. So now we have all of that information, but I don't have this information as a field to enter into. So I have to create some custom fields here. So we're going to do that first. So let's see, we need, we're going to do that right there. I'll grab a snippet of that. And then bring this over and have a reference to what we're doing. All right, now go create some custom fields. And we're going to throw this into, we're going to create a new folder, keep it organized. This will be Astro CPG show folder, and it's going to stay to the contact. We're good there. Come on. There we go. Now we can create our fields. So a lot of this is going to be just text. You know, we've got charity name, campaign month, year. Yeah, the only thing that would be a dollar value would be the donation amount. So yeah, let's just go ahead and we'll start creating some here. So we're going to do single line and start charity name. Actually, so that. I gotta think through this. Because eventually, you know, if somebody joins 2 calls, this information is going to be overwritten. So I gotta figure out, I don't even know that I need charity name because it's going to change all the time. But I do want to make sure I've got the campaign name. And with the campaign name, we're going to have to use tags. Sorry, it's boring, but I'm thinking through how this will work to keep everything individualized as far as all the different emails, making sure that you get specific links to the right calls and things like that, and the right timelines. We also need, so these are the fields that we're bringing in now. I also need to make sure I bring in the time. Okay, so got it. Going back to the inbound webhook, I need to also bring in the live stream date and time, so I can, in my automations. Okay, so we're going to do one more round of this. So I do not have a live stream date field on my campaigns table. I don't think so. So we need to go check the campaigns table. Look for live stream date. We do. Okay. So we do have that. Once it's in place, I'll update the registration page to include it in the webhook. Yes, we do have that within the table. Going live was definitely weird for me. Being live while you just watch me play around with AI and building a website is definitely weird. But at the end of the day, I was thinking about it, even going on, like, should I do this? I don't know. Ultimately, I decided I just need to do it because, putting it out there, putting this out there, I'm going to be pushing it. Why not do it now and like start bringing awareness to it and making sure that I'm doing everything I can, because ultimately when I can do everything I can, to kind of push this and get awareness around it, it's going to help so many other people. Like when those registrations and donations start coming in, it's not about me at all. I got to I had to separate myself from being scared in the moment of going live to it's really not about me. Like, it's about making this come to life so that other people can benefit from it. All right, we got our registration. Go back to here. We're going to edit the code one more time. Just select all and paste over it. Save and publish. And then we need to make another donation. $20 complete. Okay, so now back in here, we don't need that. We need to go to automation. Webinar confirmation. All right, and now just go back to the webhook, and we're going to grab the most recent one, 145. Save the trigger. Refresh. Go here, and let's see if we have that as an option. Live stream date. Perfect. Okay, so there's going to be, let's check this out and see if it will work the way I'm thinking. So we add a contact tag. Let's see, I don't think that's going to work either. Shit. I'm going to have to think about this one some more and how to make this work and stay intact to the campaigns that people have joined. All right, well, going back to this, we'll come back to that. Let's go back to the home. So we've got everything set. Before I can post and launch this and let people actually register and do that, I've got to get the email stuff set up. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on how to best manage that, because it's not clicking the way I was thinking it would. So I'm gonna jump off the live and uh, take a take a walk, think about this, and figure out what the next steps are. All right. Thanks for checking it out. I will update you soon. Hopefully, I can post today with the announcement and be able to share this so that you can register for the calls. All right. Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to bounce. I'll catch you guys later.